Welcome to the University of Kansas School of Law Holiday Baking Spectacular. I'm Stephen Mazza. I also serve as Dean of the Law School. With us today is Dean Leah Terranova, who is our Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. Leah kindly invited us to her kitchen. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I love your apron.
Oh, thanks. I made this.
I sense that there's a story.
I made this in 7th grade home economics class.
It's very nice.
Thank you. This is, it's Big Al. That's the mascot for the University of Alabama. We were a big Roll Tide fan.
Is that okay? This is a KU Law event.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Everybody knows I'm from Alabama.
Okay.
This thing won me the most outstanding home economics student award in 7th grade.
Wow.
This and my pizza bagels. So today we are making a sweet potato pie.
Excellent.
Yep, it's one of the two pies that we typically would have at our holiday meal. The other is a pecan pie, and if you are interested in learning how to make a pecan pie, I wrote an article about it several years ago, and I think you can link to the graphic below and get access to that article.
It is a very good recipe. I can attest to it. I have
Yeah.
tried it. It is excellent.
It's pretty good. Sweet potato pie, for those of you who are not aware, sort of the equivalent of a pumpkin pie. It's orange. You know, looks like a pumpkin pie. I think it is far superior. To make a sweet potato pie, you're going to need some sweet potatoes. That's what they look like. You don't want them to be too big. If they're too big, they can be kind of stringy. That's pretty good size.
What's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam?
I don't know. So let's edit that
He's the
question
cook.
out because I don't know the answer to it. So you're going to start by peeling the sweet potatoes, get all the skin off. There we go. Cut the ends off like that. This is inherently dangerous, so please be careful when you do that, particularly this part.
Oh my God.
I know.
I can't watch.
And then, you know, you're going to cut it in basically 1-inch chunks. They are kind of hard to cut. So like that. Take them. You're gonna put them in water. Gonna salt. Put salt. Come on. Yeah. Please be careful. Oh, look at you protecting your fingers.
Showing off.
Yeah. There you go. Salt the water. It's not gonna be as good if you don't put salt in the water. So to get 4 to 5 cups of cooked mashed sweet potatoes, it's about 4 pounds of sweet potatoes, I think. So while I finish up over here, Leah is going to show us how to make a real pie crust.
I am going to make a real pie crust. And
Cool.
I'm going to use the Martha Stewart pie crust recipe because she's the queen. All hail the queen.
She's dead, right?
No, I don't think she's dead.
So what do you got going on over there?
All right, so we are sifting and measuring 1 1/4 cups of flour.
Okay.
And we are going to pulse that in the Cuisinart. A little bit of salt, because you want it a little bit salty.
What if you don't own a food processor?
Well, then you have to do it by hand, which is a little bit more challenging, a little elbow grease.
Okay.
And you should use a fork, because you don't want to overdo it. You want to just do it lightly till it gets a crumbly texture. All right, we've got salt, we've got sugar, and now we're gonna cut some butter up and put it inside. Do you feel comfortable with the knife?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The butter has to be really cold because that's part of the secret to getting a good texture on your crust.
Alrighty. Cutting in.
Perfect. Okay, great. We've got our butter.
Yep.
We are going to throw that in there and then just pulse it a little bit.
Okay.
Drizzle in a little water. It's starting to do its magic. All right, let's do this.
So once you put them in your pot, cover them with water, put some salt in the water, you're going to boil them. So bring them up to a boil, turn them back to a simmer, and, you know, depending upon how large you cut the potatoes, It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes, just until they're soft enough to where you feel like you can mash them. Then you're going to want to drain them. Be careful, the water's going to be hot. And let them sit in the colander for a while to drain really well. And they need to cool off because they are going to be nice and hot. Then you're going to mash them. You can mash them with a potato masher or whatever works for you. And you're going to end up with, if you're making 2 pies, you're going to end up with 4 to 5 cups of cooked sweet potatoes. If you're making 1 pie, then you can just have the recipe.
The pie crust has come together. Martha would be proud, but we need to let it chill out in the fridge for a little bit so that the glutens chill out.
Okay.
So we're gonna wrap it up in saran wrap. We're gonna put it in the fridge for an hour, and then we'll bring it out and roll it out.
Sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the filling. You're going to want to add to your sweet potatoes. Again, if you're making 2 pies, you're going to add a whole can of evaporated milk. This is not condensed milk. This is just regular old evaporated milk. So we're going to add half a can of that since we're doing 1 pie. We're going to add a couple of eggs to the mix. Then you're going to want to add, for 1 pie, half a stick of butter. For 2 pies, you're going to add a whole stick of butter. Then you're going to add spices. This is what's going to make it sort of a holiday themed pie. So for 2 pies, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. You got to be careful with cloves. They can become overwhelming, and a teaspoonful of vanilla. Put that in here along with the butter, and then you are going to mix it up. You can use a hand mixer. It'll give you a smoother texture, but it's not really necessary. You can use a whisk or spoon or whatever you want. And that's the pie filling.
We've got the dough out. We're rolling it out. You want it to be, a little larger than the pie plate you're using so that you can do something fancy with the edges.
So how do you get it in a pie pan?
No, it's pretty easy. Ready? Yeah, it's like magic.
Well, looky there.
Look at that. Do you like a fancier crust?
Sure.
A crimp?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will sometimes get those store-bought crust that you have to roll out.
Oh.
So it looks like you made it, but...
For shame.
I know.
Martha would not approve of that. May she rest in peace.
Then, once you get that done, we are going to put the filling in the pie. Then once you have filled your pie, you're going to want to bake it. So if you're using a glass pie pan, 350 for sort of 70 to 80 minutes. If you're using a metal pie pan, you can jack it up to 375. Bake it for a little less. It's going to puff up. It's not going to puff up a lot, but that's one indication. Now, because you're baking it so long, you do have to worry about the fact that the crust will burn if you don't protect it. So you need a pie crust protector.
I've heard about this.
So this is the one I made. I took a tin crust and then I crimped tin foil around the edges. So I would say like 45 minutes through the baking. Put that on there, or you can, apparently they sell.
Is this a store-bought one?
It is a store-bought. So put the pie crust protector on about 45 minutes into the cooking, and then around 70 minutes, take a look at it to see how it's doing. If you're uncertain about whether it's done, you can stick a knife in the center of the pie, pulls out clean. Or my rule of thumb is, if you're uncertain about whether it's done, leave it in a little longer.
Better to be over than under.
That's my view.
Okay.
So let's show them what it looks like.
All right.
So this is what the pie looks like when it's done.
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it is. So we shared some of the pie with some of the faculty and staff at the law school. I think they are going to love it. Let's see.
I bet.
Wow, that's really good pumpkin pie. Would you like to try some?
No, thank you. I do not like pumpkin pie.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Can I
tastes like baby food. You're fired.
What kind of pie is this?
I don't know. Sweet potato?
My mom's is better.
Is this burnt?
Is there eggs in this?
Well, Leah, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. Really appreciate it. Thanks for showing us how to make a pastry crust. Not sure I'll ever do it, but it's good to know that I could if I wanted to. I want to also thank the faculty, students, and staff of the KU Law School for all their hard work this semester. Also want to thank our alumni base for their really generous support. And we will see you next year for the University of Kansas School of Law Holiday Baking Spectacular.
The second one?
Yeah.